license.
Should I be awake for this?
No. Oh, Red asked a question. And no, I will not elaborate on that story. If you know, you know.
Yeah, somehow I knew that Metarex comment was gonna pop up. Red doesn't seem to be able to separate video game canon, aka Sonic's primary canon, from that of Sonic X.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can see his logic there. It is basically an adaptation of the games, so why shouldn't it be canon to the games?
Honestly, I would have preferred it if it had been Metarex. Because instead... Ooh, shit. Because instead... Sega decided, no, they were built by the Nocturna clan, aka the Dark Brotherhood, aka the villains from the one Sonic RPG we ever got.
This is all Greek to me.
It was bad. Which...
I gather from the sheer volatile rage in your voice.
Which was surprising to everyone because this was BioWare before all the bullshit.
So this was next to the Old Republic BioWare. Oh goody.
That's the Old Republic first Mass Effect, yeah. So, which like when that game came out and it sucked, it was a shock to everyone. BioWare made a bad game.
BioWare can make bad games.
Of course, nowadays that's not really that much of a shock, but that's because we know BioWare is no longer BioWare.
Everybody's capable of making a bad product if the stars align. That's why we have the many fails list.
Like, honestly, like, I'm torn because one, it means that Dark Brotherhood is canon, and Dark Brotherhood is just like really bad. But then again, like, a lot of bad Sonic games are canon.
Just look at Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Which didn't.
Sonic Unleashed.
I will stand by this. It didn't have to be bad. It just has had a couple of very critical mistakes.
The biggest one being they gave Shadow a fucking Glock.
Hell, the gunplay isn't even necessarily the biggest sin of this game.
And it's funny too
I'd
because
argue it's the trolls.
it's funny too because nowadays people want Shadow with a gun.
Mostly because we have precedent for it.
Yep. When the trailers for Sonic 3 came out and Shadow was on a motorcycle with like a laser gun, everyone just lost their collective shit. Everyone wanted that to happen.
Because by then, there was enough precedent and nostalgia for the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow basically became synonymous with it.
And as bad as Shadow the Hedgehog was, there were still parts of it that were pretty good lore-wise. The whole idea with the Black Arms and Black Doom was kind of cool. The idea that Gerald was playing two different sides to try and make a cure for Maria.
This was a comment I wanted to make in yours and Red's conversation regarding, Sonic lore, but, of course, Gerald Robotnik would be doing this kind of shit. He is a Robotnik after all. I think the only person in that entire family who doesn't have the overinflated god complex ego is Maria. Even then, I say give it time. It to be a family trait.
In Gerald's case, I want to say he was less evil about it than Ivo.
I didn't necessarily say it was an evil trait, just that they have a very, very big sense of self-importance.
Oh yeah. Calling yourself the greatest scientific mind to have ever existed is definitely inflating your own ego. But like, if I were to put the Robotniks that we know of in a alignment chart, Ivo Robotnik would be either lawful evil or neutral evil. Hell, considering the stunt he pulled in the IDW comic, maybe even chaotic evil.
I'd say witch stunt because he's pulled a few, but I don't want us to be on this topic all day because we had Sonic the other day.
I know, but
Help people, Fallout!
Yeah. But to answer the question, it was the metal virus.
Ah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bear Cave, where we talk about nothing but Sonic lore for 8 hours. 8 minutes. Vegas Bear.
Listen to 8 hours of Sonic lore to fall asleep to.
Vegas Bear here. Vegas Bear here
you
again.
Here 4 days in a row.
As always, with Mekumon.
Hello.
Today we are not playing more Sonic the Hedgehog. Instead, we are playing a game you may not have heard of. It's called Fallout 3. So yeah, today is Fallout Friday. So, once again, we are back with Fallout 3. Last time on Fallout 3, the what was the name? What was the title for this character again? The Lone Wanderer.
Yes, the Lone Wanderer.
The Lone Wanderer and his Mekumon have finally left the evils of Maryland and have come back to the evils of.
They offered a one-way trip to Detroit, but we said no.
And we have come back to the evils of Washington D.C. We traded away the black magic for corporate greed. And I'm gonna be real. I missed the black magic.
Huh?
I said I'm gonna be real. I missed the black magic.
Yeah, I feel ya. Oh boy.
So today, oh god damn it!
So, after we take care of Talent Company over here, they will be just progressing in the world, as per usual.
Taking care of missions that I forgot about.
Point blank, kid, he just shook it off like a champ. These
Yep.
Talon guys are tough.
They have certainly earned their reputation. Yo, what the fuck's happening over there?
I feel like I played Benny Hill at just the right time.
Yeah. Come back here, you bitch.
Update on the song thingy there. Red's disappointed.
He's disappointed.
That it's not the better rank.
Ah. I mean, I'm disappointed. Honestly, I'm disappointed too, but just because I involved that one game.
Specifically, he says he wants a meta Rex to be cannon so badly it hurts.
Yeah, that sounds like Red.
I mean, to be fair, the entire meta Rex saga with a filler arc, so it's not even canon to Sonic X.
Which is funny, honestly.
Of course, I will never say that to his face for fear of getting punched in mine.
That's why the internet exists.
Verbally, I mean.
Oh.
Gotta wonder where exactly we are in the Wasteland right now. And this place looks vaguely familiar, but then again, every pile of gray debris looks familiar in here.
I believe we are close to the library. So, question: Are we RPing today, or are we just?
I think we're just gonna chillax.
Okay. Wait, that's not it. It's over here.
Like, we're not even a week in, and it's already been a hard year.
I mean, the week did start with WTF.
We're still in that WTF.
Hold it. This area is under the authority of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Speaking of which...
Leave immediately.
Speaking of which, apparently the Department of Education is being, removed.
Harlan?
Yeah.
You're awfully brave to be walking around down here by yourself. Are you scavenging the ruins? So it goes with all of us. Perhaps we can be of use to one another. I am senior scribe.
Like, I have as many problems with the school system as the next guy who barely passed, but like, come on.
Good. My task
Removing
here
it entirely is not the
to work for
solution.
those who came before, in order to supplement the Brotherhood archives at the Citadel. Although most of the pre-war books have been destroyed, there are a few that have survived. But finding a book in these ruins is... I could have 1 million initiates to comb the ruins.
I have
never
a
come close
vague
to
suspicion of
recovering
whose
every
idea
book
this
that remains.
was, but for fear of turning this into a massively uncomfortable debate, I'm gonna choose
The collected knowledge of a lost age
Oh,
is worth far more
if it
than
is who
any
you think
weapon.
it is,
So,
there's
return
going to be
here
no
with any
debate,
books that
because
you
I'm going to
find in
agree.
good
That's a
condition.
stupid-ass move.
I will compensate you for every volume that you bring me. Think on it, and return when you have books to offer me. You have no such thing.
I'll save that for after the stream. If I remember by then.
The fuck? Oh. I was wondering where that crate came from.
Wait. The Brotherhood lady greeted us like we'd never been here before. Are we still not done the Wasteland Survival Guide?
Nope. Because I took a break, forgot to go back to it. And I was mostly worried about the whole Mirelurk thing.
You know, fair. Moira's probably wondering what the hell happened to us. really slipped into character. Choosing not to. Again, trying to chill today.
A place like Alexandria Arms, I have to wonder if this place has any weapons. Although, looking at this, probably not.
At least not ones that aren't pointed at you.
Yeah.
Brain, focus, work.
Oh, good, it's just raiders. For a minute, I thought we'd be dealing with super mutants.
Looks like you're a tad overencumbered.
Not anymore. Wait, where the fuck did the body go?
It's the Todd Howard dimension.
God damn it, Todd Howard. Oh, there he is. Todd, I needed that! I think I just shot that one in the dick.
Well, they weren't using it anyway.
And if they were, they certainly aren't anymore.
For a bunch of reasons.
Reason number one, they're dead. Reason number two,
Oh.
I shot it the fuck off.
And reason number three, they actually weren't attracted to anybody in that capacity in life, so... Yeah. They were buried to the chaos.
Zootzi has followed. Thank you. And yes, welcome to the chaos. Just so you know, new followers have a 10-minute timer before they are able to chat in the stream, because we kept getting bots.
Bots and salesmen, basically.
Yeah, bots and salesmen. Just think of that one SpongeBob meme.
It feels like someone wants to sell me something! I told you he was harmless!
You're more than you're more than welcome to stick around. Even if you
Hey, even if you can't comment, the soundboards are still available to you.
In fact, Zootzi just used one. Son, we only ask that you do not use any sound alerts labeled only because those are for specific people. Every other sound alert you can go nuts with.
The ones that hold the name Meikumon belong to me specifically, so... Again, if it has my name in there, please don't touch. So basically, if it says only or Meikumon, it's off limits. Nope. Sound alert. I feel like we could use some epic stacks right now.
Fuck it, let's bring out Eugene.
So, to bring up a talking point that you and I haven't really touched in ages, just for the sake of, making conversation. If memory serves, you like the idea of making it so Nemesis Prime is not necessarily a reflection of Optimus Prime, but any Prime who turns to the dark side.
Yes.
In this particular instance, I used the Power of the Prime's Rodimus Unicronus design to, personify a Rodimus Prime who became a Nemesis Prime. One who gave in to his feelings of guilt, inadequacy, and darkness. Basically gave in to hopelessness. Caved under pressure.
Right.
I'm gonna tear you up. Yeah, tear them apart. You're gonna die.
And now he's hell-bent on fixing the world the only way he knows how. By tossing it aside and starting over.
Oh, great. Remember correctly, this leads back up. Yep.
Like, if we're going with the idea that Nemesis Primes are evil clones or dark reflections of the Primes that they were made from, then it makes sense to take the actual respective Prime's personality and warp their traits into something evil.
Yeah.
For an Optimus Nemesis Prime, all will be protected under the order that is the darkest of evils in the Transformers universe. You will be freed by chaos. You will be protected by the darkness. You will be freed from your mortal bodies, one way or the other. like, from freedom is the right of all sentient beings to freedom from existence is the right of all sentient beings.
Yikes. Wow, first password.
It's kind of a thing I've noticed with Unicron Heralds, where if they did used to be, something resembling a good person, they have that one trait twisted into something evil. Or in Megatron's case, something that was already there amplified to high hell.
Oh, yeah.
It will never cease to amuse me that Galvatron got to be the Starscream to a master of his own.
And when he realized that, he was like, motherfucker.
I believe by the time he realized that, Unicron was also transforming to robot mode.
Yeah.
Which, kudos to the animation team that worked on the movie. Even with its flaws, they still hit the high notes with, like, hey, flying colors. The sheer goddamn terror on Galvatron's face when he sees Unicron's robot mode for the first time. If he were capable, he'd be shitting his titanium pants.
Alright. Stealing independence. Should be in, what, National Archives?
It's somewhere in the mall area, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was right there in the quest description.
I'm going to get a refill of my drink. I'll be right back.
Alright.
Lock and load. They'll be here any second. Ha! Where? You like that? Ah! Hang tight. There's always a second wave. Hey! Where? There's more where that came from. Oh! Over here! Where? Bring it! Watch it, will you?
This ain't no regular super mutant. That's a fucking not behemoth. Overlord. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Legendary Mark Mendoza lookalike that plays Fallout. I'm thoroughly enjoying the stream. Thanks for putting it on. You're gonna spam Sydney's SMG glitch. Sell all the SMGs. Overlords are the one with the tri beams, typically, right? Yeah, but they also look a little freakier. Like this guy. Also, Mark Mendoza. I need to look that up. I feel like I know that name. Okay. I don't quite see the resemblance, but thank you. Twisted Sister band member. Yo.
Yeah? What? Whew. Say, you're pretty decent in a firefight.
Thanks, you're not so bad yourself.
Well, with what I do for a living, you need to be. Sorry, I'm being a complete asshole. I'm Sydney. It's good to meet a fellow relic hunter.
What do you mean, fellow relic
Come
hunter?
on. You and I both know this is where the Declaration of Independence is stashed. No need to be coy about it. Good old Abraham Washington sent you on the same suicide mission he sent me on. Only problem is, you're not going to get it without my help.
Who's stupid enough to shell out a bunch of caps for a scrap of paper?
Like I said, Abraham Washington. That's who. He's got plenty of caps and all kinds of valuables for trade. The guy lives over in Rivet City. Runs some sort of museum there. He buys all sorts of junk like this. Bring the Declaration back with me, and we split the reward right down the middle. How's that grab ya?
Here is my hydration.
Smart move. Okay. The Declaration is secured in the Archive's strong room underground.
Aqua Pura.
There's a concealed cargo lift right here in the center of the rotunda. I've spent a few days hacking the lock with my remote terminal. When you're ready, punch in the password. There's a cargo lift right here in the rotunda. I was hacking the system right before we were attacked. It's only a scratch. Thanks. I'll use it right away.
All right. Oh.
Men, today I address you with a message of utmost urgency. Our defenses have been breached, and soon we'll engage the enemy.
We kept the declaration in the archive strong room that's at the end of the east wing here. We'll have to make our way to it.
Men, we can't let the enemy's progress dissuade us from our task. We must defend our freedom and our right to be independent.
Keep firing.
Strike now.
That takes care of that.
You should be, because I'm going to kick your ass when I find you.
Found you. Where? According to the plans, the turret generator is somewhere in this room. Disable it, and it should make our lives easier.
Damn. I was hoping that would work. That's it.
Hey! Where? That's it. What's up? Thanks. I'll use it right away. Phew. Glad that's over. Where? Oh! Ah!
Ah, shit. Well, sorry, Sydney. A bunch of cash registers in here. Not all. Most of them are empty. What the whatever. Sounds like Mickey wants back.
I return.
Cool. So apparently I am a Mark Mendoza lookalike.
Okay.
He's a band member of the band Twisted Sister, according to Zoot Zeet.
Well, I've been called a Linkara sound alike, so.
Also, we
We
met.
both get compared to people we're pretty sure we don't actually compare to.
Also, we ran into Sydney. Unfortunately, she died.
Oof.
So, yeah.
That's probably gonna be a problem.
Yeah. There she is. Hi, Sydney. Like, I tried to keep her health up, but she just kept running straight into the frickin' Assaultrons.
We cannot allow the enemy to penetrate our...
Protectrons, you mean?
The what?
Like, Assaultrons are not in this game. That's Fallout 4.
Right.
Any deeper. Old glory
And
must
what are the
not
big
be
bulky ones
stained
called?
with the blood of...
I genuinely don't remember.
Ah!
Find another one, let's target it in bats and see the name. It might actually still be an Assaultron, I don't know.
We got the Bill of Rights.
I love the fact that you broke out the minigun. That's just telling me I am so done with this place.
Yeah.
And hey, at least there's Abraham Washington to give the stuff you find to.
Yeah, but he's kind
As
of
a
a
tiny
dick.
little profit.
Sentry bot with laser minigun and rockets. Thank you, Zoot.
First, my brain, as I cannot see Zoot's name without thinking of a bunch of other shit. From Zoot Suits to the PBS show Zoom.
Those things are so OP. True, that guy is a jerk. You can get the legendary wig, though. Ah, yeah.
Like, he is a jerk, but, I mean, you're still contributing to the preservation of history, so... Like, weigh your options, I guess. Ooh, that might come in handy.
What?
Quantum Chemist. If you're doing the Nuka-Cola challenge thing for Sierra Petrovna, that is actually a good thing.
I had 10 Nuka-Colas on me, so...
Basically, every 10 Nuka-Colas you collect gives you 1 quantum.
Good to know.
It's here for in case you did the... It is possible to stop lock the quest and, well, drink a couple too many quantums. Less so now that you've got the DLCs, but, like, in the base game, that was a problem. The solution was this perk. If you did end up drinking the quantums, a few too many to complete the quest, well, now you can just collect regular Nuka-Colas and make quantum.
Magna Carta.
I'll admit, it's not as useful once that quest is finished, but, like, at least Nuka-Cola Quantum has benefits for your action points.
Yeah.
Also, the Nuka grenades.
The enemy is at the gate.
thank you, Zoot. I almost forgot about the Nuga grenades.
You've breached our defenses, evaded our best soldiers, and you've raided my home.
Yeah, you need quantum to craft those, and they are really damn good.
I cannot allow you to... The Declaration must remain here. It is our symbol of hope, the one thing that cries out, we are a free nation.
You must be Button Ginwit, second signer of the Declaration.
Then my reputation precedes me. Good. That should make you well aware that I am not to be trifled with, and that my loyalty to the States is legendary. I know your fighting prowess far exceeds my own, but I will still duel you to the death if I must. What will it be, then? Rapiers? Pistols at dawn? Out with it!
It's quite brave of you to potentially sacrifice your life over a document.
This is no mere document, sir. This is the doctrine laid down by my fellow members of the Second Continental Congress. It absolves us of the tyranny of King George III of Great Britain. It is perhaps the greatest symbol of this free nation.
Is there some way we can make a compromise?
Broken promises and deceit may be the way of Great Britain's crown, but I will not succumb to such tomfoolery. Since it appears you wish to resolve this without bloodshed, may I suggest you stand down and surrender? I can promise that you will be treated well, in a manner accustomed to any member of the Royal Army.
There's more to this than you realize, Button.
Please explain, but I warn you, I am well versed on the tactics of the underhanded Redcoat's spy. You do well to remember that.
I'm Thomas Jefferson. I have returned to liberate the Declaration.
Saints alive! It is both an honor and a privilege, sir. I was hoping this day would arrive. I hope these fortifications are up to your high standards, sir. All of my men await your command to push and retake the capital. May I ask where you intend to bring the document?
It will be carried to our new president, Abraham Washington.
Our new president? So the stars and stripes truly are forever. All hail the red, white, and blue. Does this mean the war is over? Have we won?
Yes, Button, we won.
It's over? Amen to that. Then I suppose my posting here at the fort is complete. I think you said it best when you said, we in America do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. It has been both an honor and a privilege to serve in the Army of the United States. What are your final orders?
Stand down and honorably relinquish your post. You've earned a rest.
Coming from you, that means all the world to me. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve my country. It's time for me to take a long-needed rest. I think you'll find that the rest of my men are long due for the same. I hereby relinquish command and control of this fortification to you. Good luck to you, Mr. Jefferson, and give Sally my regards.
And Button's wig, Button's supply desk. The Declaration of Independence. I have to wonder if there are any other documents in here that I haven't found. Looks like Mekumon left.
Now try and hide from girlfriend little man! Game's over!
Oh, really? That's cool. Oh. Isn't that just the way things go, though? Hello? Hello?
That was a big talking scare.
You good?
For a minute or two. Yeah, my battery died for a minute or two.
Shit.
Okay.
Hear something. Game's over!
Just another sign that February will be the time.
Yep.
Whether I have moved yet or not, I can't put this off any longer. I gotta get a new phone. And potentially deal with setting everything back up.
Yeah, that's always a pain when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Now you know, major motivation for I've been dragging my feet.
No more games! Time to die!
Why are there brass knucks in this
So,
ruined school desk?
I don't think I want to know.
What student was like, alright, I'm gonna beat the shit out of some people?
I, again, don't want to know. So, here's a potential Transformers Odyssey what if for you. What if one of the displays was Prime Universe Megatron?
Ooh. Ooh, that would be interesting. For multiple reasons.
I'd say probably pop him in between, like, the beginning of Season 2 and the Star Saber portion of Season 2.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take that back. After he forges the Dark Star Saber, between that point of Season 2 and the finale.
Any particular reason?
When I've got two specific reasons. First off, the arm of Leech Maximo just gruesomely attached to Megatron.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's the Prime he stole that limb from. Which brings me to reason 2. If he doesn't bring the Dark Star Saber with him when he gets displaced, he could just make another one.
Oh boy.
Because that's what I want to see happen. If he could attempt to use the energy in Unicron's head to make another Dark Star Saber,
Now try and hide from this!
alternatively, a Galvatron from a universe where Dark Energon not only exists, but dear old crazy man Galvi has figured out how to use it. Just being bluntly honest, I just want to create an excuse for Rodimus to step up, wielding the Sword of Primus. Just imagine the sword fight that follows. The blade forged by and for literal Transformer God, clashing with a blade made of the blood of robot Satan.
Fuck.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, that one felt weird.
choose not to do that, then I do have a suggestion for the alternate Galvatron you'd have brought up during the whole Deathsaurus thing.
Mm-hmm.
You claim you want this one to be from a universe where he, and by extension Unicron, won.
Yep.
Well, do I have a universe for you?
Oh boy.
Marvel UK.
Right!
This guy, this Galvatron, destroyed the Matrix, or at the very least, managed to kill Rodimus Prime. Went on to slaughter most of the Autobots, leaving the rest in hiding. And while Unicron did destroy Cybertron, Galvatron ruled Earth.
Oh man, there's a bunch of cool shit in there, but I can't get in because of the lock.
We'll just have to remember to come back here once you've leveled up a couple of times.
Yep.
So, the storyline in question is called Target 2005. After the aforementioned scenario of Galvatron winning, the Decepticons conquering the Earth, driving humanity to near extinction, and I do clarify, near extinction, the US is basically uninhabited.
Swap.
And who knows about the rest of the world? All we know is that over in Europe, they were preparing to launch nukes at the Decepticons' headquarters in the States. Things had gotten that desperate.
Shit.
Let
Man.
that sink in. To all you Decepticon fans out there, this is what happens when the Decepticons win! I'm pretty sure at least 10 of you out there like that. So, Galvatron, this one is even crazier than the guy in the cartoon. Which, considering what he did to the therapy planet, that is saying something. For those that don't know, there was an episode of G1 Season 3 called Web World, where Cyclonus, finally having had enough of Galvatron's constant abuse, decides to sign him up on a therapy planet to hopefully get whatever the heck is wrong with his head fixed. Be it by actually doing repairs or psychiatric help. By the end of the episode, Galvatron drives the planet so crazy in fear that it kills itself to get away from him. The planet itself, which was a living entity, was so scared of Galvatron that it committed self-delete to escape him.
You gotta love it.
And I'm saying that this Marvel UK Galvatron is even crazier than that guy. Because at the very least, that Galvatron wasn't standing in a field of bodies of his own creation. You know, a field of corpses. talking to the body of one specific Autobot like it was still alive and capable of hearing him.
Yikes.
That is the fate of Rodimus Prime in this timeline. That particular Galvatron's Rodimus Prime is dead and strung up between the remains of the Twin Towers. Remember, people, it was like 1986, 87 in there when that comic was produced. He's basically strung up in between two towers, and though he is visibly destroyed and decaying, Galvatron still rambles and talks to him and beats up the corpse like it's still there trying to thwart him. And this is the Galvatron I propose popping up in Transformers Odyssey. Because of what happened after this moment of the story, this Galvatron was called upon by a Unicron in the past and time traveled there thanks to the power of said alternate Unicron to serve him. He is collectively known as Galvatron 2 by fandom.
Okay.
Target 2005 was one big time travel story that basically was like Transformers meets the Terminator before we actually got that crossover.
Oh, yeah.
And again, this is the Galvatron I'm suggesting sending to EO, to Odyssey. With a few minor tweaks, because this one is a much stronger Unicron-powered Galvatron, perhaps this one can indeed summon and manipulate Dark Energon. To the degree that he could literally corrupt Standard Energon into it with his mere presence.
Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting.
Specifically, stuff that's not already been refined and turned into, actively in-use fuel. So he's not doing that to the energon in somebody's body. But the liquid stuff that Cybertron has in place of water, the raw energon crystals that are growing out of the planet now that it's had the time to start recovering from the war, that shit easily corrupted. Take a little bit of how the Dark Energon worked in Prime and a little bit of how it worked in the War for Cybertron game. A Galvatron this powerful would necessitate multiple bots working together to beat him.
Yeah.
Hell, it would even justify Rodimus pulling out a holy weapon. Which, if you want to really hint at the history of this particular weapon, you can easily add an offhand comment of how Rodimus used this to finish off Galvatron last time, too.
Ooh.
Morning. Oh, come on.
As always, these are but suggestions, and you may take or leave them as you see fit.
Right.
things considered, though, I do think I got your interest with some of those responses.
Oh,
I mean,
my.
I did kind of,
never expected
sort of,
anyone to find this.
low-key upgrade Galvatron to an
Well,
almost Lovecraftian level threat.
you drive a hard... Indeed I am. Although there were several copies made of
Instead
the
of driving things insane, he is
What?
the insane one. And his mere presence corrupts everything good around him.
Please ask them. Well, I sent someone like yourself after the declaration. She did some of the research for me. But now, I wouldn't worry about it. Many have died for causes far... Oh, my lord, I never expect... You have earned your place in the annals of American history. Yes, indeed. I understand the road was difficult, so allow me to present you with an extra bonus to perhaps Enjoy your reward, my friend. You've earned it.
You know, I just realized that would legit make things an interesting kind of pseudo rematch here. A Galvatron who killed his Rodimus Prime and a Rodimus Prime who killed his Galvatron. A rematch for all the marbles.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find a copy of that Hasbro Pulse G1 toy recolor of the Legacy/Kingdom Galvatron. For the express purpose of making him Galvatron 2. Which, one thing I will definitely point out here, with the original toy color scheme kind of echoing the gray that Megatron was in the cartoon, toy colors Galvatron looks more like Megatron than, well, the purple titan we all know and fear beyond reason. I can also see, like, one good hit knocks Galvatron's crowned helmet off of him, and underneath is just Megatron.
I hope things are going well.
Albeit without the bucket helmet, but still very visibly Megatron. On the note of old Megs, here's where I get to ask your input yet again. What do you think the G1 cartoon Megatron turned into before they went to Earth?
Ooh.
Welcome home, sir.
Because I have a suggestion of my own, but I want to hear yours first.
Honestly, like, I don't know, because... I mean, it could literally be anything from, like, a tank to another gun.
Well, for my non-existent money, here's what I think. Mounted turret.
Ooh.
Kind of like a midway point between tank and gun. Without going the skybound route.
Well, all right. Let me count up.
Where in order to assume this mode, he legit has to plant himself into the ground like a tree. And he basically becomes a sentry turret that can either fire automatically or be aimed by a fellow Decepticon.
Yes, knowing more about them can help people learn to avoid. So I picked up this observer device to study them in their natural habitat. I need to
Comparison I will bring up here is Team Fortress 2. The Engineer's sentry gun on its own versus the sentry gun with the...
I recommend the nest at the Anchorage War Memorial.
Trying to remember the name.
Find one of their spawning pods, probably down near the water. Put this observer
It's a
inside.
secondary weapon,
Not to kill any
like an alternate weapon where he takes direct control of the sentry. In doing so, it gains a little force field around it so it can soak up more damage. And because the player's now because the player is now manually aiming the thing, your firing range is basically increased. This is gonna bug me. I'm gonna be searching for this name for hours.
Good hunting. Try not to die.
You have 2 fans in the audience. Help me out. What's the name of the weapon?
Now I know I've never seen you in Megaton before.
That said, you get my point.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting alt mode for specifically the G1 cartoon universe Megatron.
Come back.
Ideally, my Megatrons usually turn into, tanks or armored trucks as a mocking mirror of Optimus Prime. Or, in one of the best examples of a Megatron alt mode I've ever seen, attack helicopter.
The attack helicopter's pretty good, I will not lie.
So nice, they've so far only used it twice.
Please.
Once in Transformers Animated, and once in Earthspark.
My machine's almost full, you know. That's over 25 bottles of... Get me to 30, and you'll have the...
I'm also okay with Megatron turning into a jet on occasion. And then there's that one weird one where he was a six changer.
I see an Enclave outpost.
Okay, here's another one for you. So, for the sake of this discussion, we'll assume you have both the means and the money to pay for this. Which would you rather the next HasLab be? Robots in Disguise 2001 Megatron? Or Animated Omega Supreme?
Honestly, Animated Omega Supreme.
Fair enough.
We don't get a lot of
that.
we don't get a lot of big ship transformers.
I remember talking with Red about this, and he was very insistent that all you'd have to do is remold the Titan art. And I'm like, well, I can see your logic here, but I disagree. Because the ships are just different enough. Plus, if you did remold the Titan arc into animated Omega Supreme, how are you getting Omega Supreme's head turret to poke out of the ship? Remember, that cannon was, like, poking out of the dorsal structure on the stern of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
And the cannon was also the back of Omega Supreme's head. You know what's actually kind of crazy about that? You know how most of the transformations in Transformers Animated were designs to closely resemble their toys, whether the toy released first or not?
Mm-hmm.
Omega Supreme is no exception. The handful of times we saw him transform, they kept it as consistent as they could with their plans for a potential Omega Supreme toy. One Hasbro decided not to do because they didn't want to make something of that size. Keeping in mind, at the time, it would have been roughly equivalent to, like, Cybertron's Metroplex.
Okay, the Outcasts want me dead.
I think you might have accidentally grazed one of them in a previous encounter.
Well, either way. Time for
Something is,
culling.
I feel like this makes more sense out of them. These are the guys, like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. These guys should have been the regular Brotherhood of Steel, not the Outcasts. And Lion's Brotherhood should have been called the Outcasts. Because these guys behave much more closely to your standard Brotherhood of Steel whole mindset.
Dead.
Including the inherent hatred of outsiders, and being willing to just blindly attack on sight if you have good enough tech. So when they see a person with full-on power armor walking down the road, of course they're just gonna go kill him and take the armor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, that was either the bravest raider in the game or the dumbest.
Yes.
You know what? I will accept that. Okay, now here's a slightly harder choice, taking animated Omega out here. I'm reusing RD01 Megatron because that is what people seem to generally think will be the next one, since Omega Prime was the last one.
Right.
And they're going, well, the last time we got an Autobot leader out of HasLab, the immediate one after him was his respected Decepticon leader. They're basically going, well, since we got that Thorax Star Saber, we're probably gonna get, we'll call him Gigatron for sake of avoiding, just for sake of streamlining here. We'll probably get Gigatron instead of anything else, because we just got Omega Prime. Speaking of which, not too long now, this autumn.
Nice.
And I need to figure out if I can change my shipping address so it actually shows up at my place of residence when it does get here. Because I will have moved by then. But that's neither here nor there. So, RID Gigatron or Rail Racer?
Ooh. Ooh. Rail Racer.
Let's be... I mean, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, but let's be completely real here. If Hasbro wanted to reuse them, we could have got them at retail level. They'd be like either Deluxe Class Plus, as in sold in Voyager packaging but at Deluxe scaled with like better engineering, or Voyager Plus, sold at Leader Class price points. Either way, if they wanted to, they could absolutely do Team Bullet Train at mass retail. They just refuse to. I've been over the reasons why in previous streams, so I will just abbreviate the point here and say the only way we could get a new Rail Racer outside of third party finally getting their heads out of G1's tailpipe and going, oh hey, other things exist. That aren't just recolors of G1 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love the Commandos and Ruination as much as the next guy, but, like, that's way too easy. I love Scourge as much as the next guy, but he's way too easy. Because they are just repaints of G1 and G2 characters. You want to show RID-01 some actual love? Do a third-party Omega Prime! Do a third-party Rail Racer! Landfill! Skybite, for crying out loud! I guarantee you, a third-party Skybite would sell like hotcakes. Just as much as a third-party Waspinator would. Speaking of which, if we're gonna do third-party Beast Wars stuff, Transmetal Waspinator, please!
Yes! Yes! Transmetal Waspinator.
You can in turn recolor that into Transmetal Buzzsaw if you wanted. There's a Skywarp color scheme that you can use for like the Waruder reference. I think there's actually a Transformers character named Skywasp that uses the Skywarp color scheme on a wasp in her body.
I think you might be right.
But like, you get my point. There are characters that people would love to see, and just nobody's tapped the well. There's so much water here, and people are trying to scoop it out of the mud in the G1 well. It's like, come on. But yeah, the only way we could get an official Hasbro Rail Racer and I specify Hasbro because there is a possibility that I will mention later. The only way we get an official Hasbro Rail Racer would be through HasLab. Which, if I knew how to get into contact with them and make that suggestion, even if they don't act on it, just have somebody make that suggestion, I would. Because, like, especially now, Hasbro in general is showing Robots in Disguise 2001 a lot more love than we've seen in the last 20 years. Okay, more like last 10 years, but still. Like, I have to acknowledge that Universe 03 still had RID Universe characters as of 2005 when the first batch of Universe ended. Which, by the way, hurrah huzzah! We've effectively hit the anniversary moment, year-wise at least, of the end of the Universe conflict.
Oh.
Which also means the anniversary of the formation of the Unicron Singularity.
Oh.
Yeah, that's actually legitimately a thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, when the black hole formed, the Unicron that was kind of just sitting there in between dimensions, abducting everybody to make a fight to restore him, he started collapsing. He did not die alone. But most of the victims that were with him were his own minions. Which then leads me to a fun but kind of sad fact. There's kind of an unresolved plot line here.
Oh?
And that is the fate of Optimus Primal.
Oh, no.
We know that he escaped with a bunch of other children of Primus, the faction consisting of basically everybody who was against Unicron. Autobot, Decepticon, Maximal Predacon, Vehicon, you name it. We know that Optimus Primal escaped with a bunch of his comrades. But we don't know if he made it back to his own home dimension. Let alone his own home time period. There's a lot of characters that basically have that kind of same issue going on. I was just shooting my mouth Prime. You wanna know what happened to him?
What?
They ended up in the Transformers Cybertron universe. The entire time TF Cybertron was on our TV screens, Omega Prime was kind of lurking in the shadows in the background on planet Cybertron, keeping things relatively orderly.
Huh. Interesting.
And it was a darn good thing, too, because... Let me put into perspective about when Optimus and Magnus show up here. Primus had already assumed robot mode. Cybertron Prime and his crew had left for Gigantian and were still fighting over that key. That's when Omega Prime has poofed into this timeline. Redirected from his escape to another universe because Overrun, the current leader of the Minicons, who was one of Optimus Prime's other Minicon partners during the Minicon War, used the Minicon Matrix of Leadership. Yes, apparently that's a thing.
Okay.
Like, Overrun used that to redirect Omega Prime because they had a bit of an issue. Some heralds of Unicron, one of which being a big, scary, woolly mammoth with tusks tipped in red, they showed up and started making their way to Primus' Spark Chamber. If you know your Universe 2003 figures, the description I gave of Mr. Woolly Mammoth over there should be setting off some red flags. Because I just described Nemesis Prime.
I was about to say.
Which, on a side tangent, it's kind of funny, that's the only release of the big convoy mold we ever saw in the States. We never got any actual Lio Convoy figures from the Japanese Beast Wars toy line, and wouldn't get one properly until Legacy came out with a new mold for the character. We've never seen Big Convoy, but we did get his mold for Nemesis Prime. Excuse me, Nemesis Prime. Which, that particular Nemesis Prime is a complex beast in his own right. But yeah, Omega Prime was redirected because this dude had a twisted and corrupted matrix full of Unicron's own spark essence that he was intending to open in the Spark Chamber of Primus to kill Primus and collapse this dimension on itself.
Yikes.
Ultra Magnus and RID Optimus Prime show up and stop them in time. The Dead Matrix, which was what they called this particular Unicronian Matrix of Leadership, it had already been open for like a couple of seconds. Optimus manages to snap it back shut. Which, funny enough, I think they used the Wolverine Claw snick sound effect for that. All while using the Matrix of Leadership he had in his own chest to restore Primus back to full health. Some other Unicron spawn end up breaking in, stealing the Dead Matrix back, taking Nemesis Prime and leaving, and they ended up doing, well, the one thing that ticked Red off more than anything. This right here is largely why he despises the mere concept of the Universe 2003 story. What it did to the Unicron trilogy.
What did it do to the Unicron trilogy?
So, when the spawn of Unicron had taken away Nemesis Prime and his dead Matrix, they relocated at a relatively small planetoid. It was inhabited. They proceeded to yeet the dead Matrix, smashing it open on this planetoid, flooding it with Unicron's spark essence, and in turn reviving him proper at a still planetary-sized, albeit much smaller, body. One was turned into a tank with fucking spider legs.
Huh.
Yeah, that Unicron toy in Transformers Cybertron was weird. But yeah, because of this, the black hole that the Autobots ultimately closed at the end of the target, at the end of the, I almost called it Target, at the end of the Cybertron TV show. It was no longer a Unicronian black hole, just a massive one. Red was basically pissed off that Primus didn't vanquish Unicron's essence, but rather just closed the black hole. There was no defeat of Unicron at the hands of this particular Optimus Prime and Primus.
Fine thing you did for this town.
But instead, it was basically just yoinked away from them with.
It's good to see you alive and well.
I've had time to come to terms with what this did to the story, and honestly, I don't think it really diminishes the efforts of this universe's Autobots all that much. They still went to 4 planets, fought the good fight, recovered the 4 cyber planet keys, restored Primus to life, and closed the black hole that otherwise would have devoured their entire universe, Unicronian energy or no. Just because Unicron was revived by his minions prior to him getting back doesn't change the fact that these guys still saved their universe. But, I digress. And now that I've been rambling for way too goddamn long, I believe it's time you had a chance to do a little rambling of your own.
Okay.
I mean, it's only fair. It's your show.
What the ramble about? Oh. I had an idea for my Flash story.
Ooh.
So, I've already told you about Jay West and his eventual turn to the dark side.
His complicated family life, to sum it up.
Yep. And him killing Hunter Zolomon and gaining his own speed powers, becoming a reverse Flash in the process.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day I get to see you write that. Which means I better get started on the Spidey bits.
So, I had an idea for a much later story. Say, I don't know, some kind of crisis is happening.
Oh.
So,
2 worlds or infinite worlds?
You came in here on your own
Depends.
power, so you must not. That'll be. All right.
One
I
idea I
got some of
had
this
was similar to
pre-war
the
stuff.
Justice League
Should
Ultimate
flush your system
Unlimited
right
episode,
out.
where that involved time travel and meeting future Static Shock and Batman Beyond and all that.
All better now. You
Quick
big
tangent since you
baby.
mentioned Batman
Can I
Beyond.
get back?
Oh boy.
I promise, this is gonna be quick. It's just a piece of advice. And it's one we are both going to have to implement. We're going to have to get a grip on the turns of phrase they used in Batman Beyond, because I feel like that would be more widespread than just Neo Gotham.
Yeah.
That was all. Proceed.
Okay. Well. So, say, I don't know, something happens that causes the past and present to meet, right? Some sort of crisis.
How is the So, are they intelligent? There's only one.
First,
I'm still here?
hold on. Let me just repair shit. And then I don't want to buy things for my house. I want to buy things for me.
Yeah. The fireworks thing. Now that you've completed the, long since completed Operation Anchorage, all you really need is that stealth suit and a couple of stealth boys and you're good to go.
And I only got one. I had 20, but I think I sold them.
Really, all you need is one. It's just a matter of making sure you only use it just before you go in.
Alright. So, some sort of temporal crisis that causes heroes from the past and present to meet. Say, Terry meets Bruce in his prime. Mayday and Benji meet their dad, who is still in high school.
Or early college. Could go either way.
Yeah.
I just imagine a potential mention of Gwen Stacy slips and Benji and Mayday are like, who's Gwen? Imagine how Pete's gonna react to hearing that. Especially if this is prior to the whole Green Goblin thing that he gets pulled from. Again, I digress.
So, that and Iris and Jay end up meeting their father in his prime.
Do I sense some family therapy coming?
Yes. So, basically, I need to pause so I can talk about this. So, while Bruce, the Bruce Batman is like, you can't tell us anything about the future. It might change the past. Blah blah blah. Benji and Mayday are fighting themselves to not just tell their dad that he's gonna die.
Only imagine the kind of like bone-crushing, Veggie is trembling bear hug he gives his dad before they have to say goodbye.
But Iris and Jay, they kind of spill the beans anyway. And Wally learns that not only did at this point, this version of Wally has not had kids yet, but he learns that his future kids will both gain powers, and it'll tear the two of them apart to the point where his son becomes a Reverse Flash.
I sense a kind of infinite loop starting here.
Well, recall how Barry Allen died in Infinite Crisis.
Remind me how that went?
There was a machine that was going to destroy everything. Barry had to... He was on some sort of treadmill or something. Barry had to run as fast as he possibly could. He eventually...
This was a sequence of panels of him disintegrating, wasn't it?
Yes, and then becoming the very lightning bolt that gave him his powers.
Damn.
Uh,
He became his own self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. See, now, the idea I had is that Iris, at this point, is knocked out. And Jay is not going to let Wally sacrifice himself, because if he does, the future changes. And at this point, Jay is not going... He is not going completely mental like he has been in the early parts of the story. He's calmed down somewhat, and he's also come to realize that, well, partially because he realizes he's a Reverse Flash now. He, unlike Eobard Thawne, who had a mental breakdown and dedicated his life to ruining berries, Jay realizes that he was never meant to be a Flash.
Eventually.
No, he was never going to be a Flash.
No, I mean, eventually realizes.
Oh, yes. By the time
I imagine he'd be in denial for quite a while.
Yes, by the time this crisis happens, he fully he hasn't admitted it to anyone else, but he fully admits to Wally that he was never going to be a Flash. And he's hurt a lot of people. He's killed people. Jay would argue that maybe some of them had it coming, maybe some of them didn't. But the fact is, I'm not a hero, Dad. I don't think I was ever going to be. All I've done is hurt people. I've hurt Iris. I hurt Mayday. I hurt Benji. I killed Hunter Zolomon. He pats the reverse lightning bolt on his chest. If anything, I deserve this for things I've done. But just for once, let me do something no other Reverse Flash has done. Let me save you all. He gets on the treadmill and starts running. And running and running. At some point, his red and green lightning starts changing color. Something Jay never notices. It goes from red to green, to orange, to yellow. The lightning bolt on his chest switches sides. And then Jay dies. Much to the horror of Iris, who just woke up and saw her brother sacrifice himself. Now, the other part of the idea that I'm a little iffy on is that because Jay and Iris had, talked to Wally and Jay let slip what their life was like, when the heroes of the past return, Iris comes back to a slightly different present day. There is no Reverse Flash. According to the newspapers, Iris never fought one. However, she learns that while in the original timeline she protected both Central City and Keystone City, since they're right next to each other, she finds out she is only the hero of Central City. Someone else is protecting Keystone. A green-clad hero called the Turtle.
Oh, I'm smiling. I like where this is going.
In this new timeline, Wally took what he learned and spent more time with Jay. Even took him out on some of Iris's training missions, which is when his slow powers activated much earlier than they did originally. Meaning, Wally was able to train both his kids. Yeah, he had some trouble with Jay, since he's never encountered powers like this before. But he was able to be there for Jay. And the day Wally West was buried, Iris West and Jay West were both there. And then at the Flash's funeral, both Kid Flash and the Turtle were there, standing side by side, being there for each other.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see why you're a little iffy on this, because there's two interpretations here. The less charitable one is that he's basically been rewarded for doing all the nasty stuff he's done, but the more charitable one is that in his last moments, Jay redeemed himself and earned another chance.
Yeah. Hence the color, the lightning color changing and the emblem switching sides.
Overall, I like this idea, and I think it would be best to save this crisis event quite a ways into the future.
Oh, absolutely. But there's also one other thing even though the past was changed, there is still one thing from Iris's original timeline that exists. The lightning bolt. When Jay died, he became a bolt of lightning. This bolt of lightning, however, unlike with Barry, did not strike him in the past, or Hunter Zolomon in the past. No. This bolt of lightning sought someone else out. A teenager, let's say, by the name of Daniel Garrick.
Ooh.
Great, however many great grandson of that universe's Jay Garrick, because I looked it up. Jay Garrick did not exist in the DCAU. He only existed like as the Jay Garrick Flash on another Earth.
Right, I remember that episode.
Oh no, this was in the comics.
Right. I remember an episode where they ended up kind of phasing into another dimension and making heroes based on like that era, which included like something akin to Jay Garrick Flash.
Yep.
That was probably what I was thinking of.
That episode was also vaguely racist.
Yeah.
You're a credit.
Problematic in hindsight.
You're a credit to your people, son. Like, oh no.
I mean, it is the golden age in there.
But yeah, no. Since Jay Garrick was never the Flash in this universe, I would say that he never became the Flash. Instead, he did whatever, and eventually he started a family, and this led to Daniel Garrick. Iris West.
His eventual descendant, we'll say.
Huh?
His descendant, we'll say,
Yeah.
to spare ourselves the numerous great.
And basically, Iris's Kid Flash.
Or Impulse, depending on if he chooses to use that name.
It all depends on how I decide to write his character. Because if I turn him into a Flash fanboy like Wally was, he's absolutely going to say, I want to be Kid Flash. All right. Now then. Where do I go for the cave? Do I go in here or no?
Gotta give me a second hints for the beat to catch up.
I think I found it. Or not.
It's like literally down at the water.
The marker's putting me here, so do I put on the stealth boy right now, or do I wait?
Again, waiting for the feet to catch up. That is the front door. You want to try it for the other end of the building.
Alright.
trust me, you'll know it when you see it, because it's like a back door with like concrete steps that lead directly into the water. You may have to do some lockpicking to get in.
Alright, that shouldn't be a problem. Is this it?
Acting up. I think that's it.
Alright. So do I want to put the thing on the second I'm in?
Yeah. Like at this point, you'd have enough time if you decided to put the stealth boy on before you did lockpicking or afterwards. But I would recommend being in stealth modes when you get in there regardless.
So do I just put it in any of the spawning things?
There will be a little destination marker guiding you to the specific egg clutch.
There is no marker.
Well, if it says... Okay, yeah, just put it in. Just put it in. If it asks you, the observer can be easily hidden here, do you want to put it there? Say yes, and you are effectively done. You can leave.
Oh, thank fuck.
The reason I tell you to do a stealth bit is because, well, the optional bit is to do so without having to kill any of the... So, the best way to avoid having to kill them is to just not be seen.
Yep. Okay, Moira, I did your stupid, crazy thing.
Oh, hey! Kinda busy here, but I guess I can talk for a bit. What's up?
The worst of it's over.
Let's talk about Mirelurks.
Are they intelligent?
At least for this
Do they have a
chapter of the
leader?
book.
Some sort of king? Ooh, or priest? Ooh, or some sort of...
I slipped the observer in with the eggs, and they're none the wiser.
I'll bet most people would have just gone in there, guns blazing without half a thought. But not you. You're the best research assistant ever. I've been getting a good signal, but what do you think about them from your first-hand observations of them?
They're descended from local crabs.
That's very scientific of you. Personally, I wasn't sure if they were crabs or if they came from some sort of brine shrimp, perhaps. Some of these observations about their armor and camouflage gave me an idea for reinforced, neutral-colored headgear.
They're descended from local crabs. I call them Scylla. I call them Scylla serrata horrendous.
Speaking of which, take these, so you can continue to avoid them in the future.
I love those skill checks, man.
Always. And your feedbacks really led to a very smartly
Including
written
but not
book.
limited to
Maybe
too
smart for some
tired
folks,
to
I
be
worry.
snide.
Of course, if the reader can't be bothered to understand something important as a book on how to stay alive, and in case those readers blame you for their ignorance, here's your payment. 2 big boxes of ammo. Now,
How much do you want to bet those 6 stealth boys she gave you were just 6 of the ones you sold?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
the last chapter is a bit more esoteric. It's about the survival of humanity as a whole, and how to rebuild society. Deep stuff, huh? We need to know how large settlements are formed, how to harness the old technology. And I'll need you to get ancient history from a nearby library.
And now for the final
You're
chapter
in
of
the
the book.
last stretch now, so let's finish it up strong. What's first?
Researching local history sounds easy.
Don't be so sure. You'd be surprised how confused people get.
Especially now that we know who to talk
things.
to get the
In this
history of
case,
Rivet City.
I'm talking about Rivet City. It's the most successful survivor settlement around, but nobody really knows how it started. Of course, that's why it's important to know how a place like that succeeded.
Okay.
Oh, now I can't wait for what you find out down there. And check around to make sure you're hearing
I'd recommend
real
doing the
deal.
robot thing last, because that's another good stealth bit going.
Oh boy.
It's optional, but I recommend having it as a backup plan.
Understood.
Because you will have to fight robots and mole rats.
Keep up the...
Well,
Either mole rats or rat roaches.
that's gonna have to wait till next Friday.
Right.
You can see the megaton settler rushing over here to get to me. That's funny. All right. Well, that's going to be it for today, folks. We didn't get too much done.
But all things considered, we kind of needed a laid back, lazy, do nothing day. So
Yep. We did manage a couple of we did clear some side quests. Finally got the second chapter of that damn book written. And unfortunately, Sydney did not live to see payday.
so we got her share instead.
Yep. I also got her gun. But besides, it's better it's better than having to fight her for the money. But anyway, there will be no stream tomorrow, probably, because a friend of mine is coming over, and we haven't hung out in quite some time, actually. Not since summer, I think.
Yeah.
So this has been Vegas Bear, non-professional Mark Mendoza lookalike.
And Kumon, who has been overly talkative today.
You all know the spiel by now. Support us in any way you want. It helps. Any way you decide to support us, it helps us out. So, we will be back on Monday with
Resident Evil remake.
Yep. Oh boy. Until then, stay safe, stay comfy, be good to each other.
Don't give up on those resolutions yet, people. You can do it.
I already I already gave up on mine. I didn't even make any.
My resolution was to never make resolutions. I'm a living paradox.
And we will catch you on Monday. So, yeah. Peace.